a little self-flattery here. I don't mean to be immodest, but I understand from my 21st century friends, at the time I ran the post office, it was the only time in its history that it ran in the black. Well, I invented a device to put on my wheels of my postal carriages that would click each time the revolution of the wheel made, and so I called it the odometer, and was able, therefore, to tell how far my carriages were going. It happened to be efficient. That was one of my favorite inventions that few people know about. My most important invention was, or contribution to science, wasn't mine alone, was the lightning rod. There's no question about it. But here's a story you don't know about the lightning rod. At least I don't think you do. My son William and I flew the kite with the key at the bottom that proved that lightning was electricity and that it could be moved away from objects, in June of 1752. But because of the scarcity and the difficulty of communication, I only learned some months later that French scientists working in a little town called Marly-sur-Roi, outside of Paris, had, using my instructions and my ideas for the experiment, proved the same thing a month earlier. So I was not the first to have proved that. I immediately sent a letter of congratulations to them. I was thrilled to learn that. That's little known. Other questions? Madam?
I wonder if you could comment on the Ben Franklin effect in psychological terms.
I'm sorry, please.
I'm wondering if you could comment on the Ben Franklin effect in psychological terms.
The effect?
The Ben
I have no idea what you're talking about, madam. Please explain to me. I might be able to elucidate, and I might not.
Well, in college I was a psychology major and we learned about the Ben Franklin effect.
What's that?
Which is that I am more likely to do a favor for you if I have done a favor for you once than I would be had you retaliated or returned the favor and done one for me. You're not familiar with that?
I'm not at all.
It's a famous psychological effect.
It may very well be. But,
I was just wondering what origins it had in your lifetime.
I am
but-
terribly sorry, but I would not presume to know that. Sorry. Ben Franklin effect. How flattering. I think.
Were you involved in creating the intellectual property clause of the Constitution, the one about inventions and discoveries?
No, in fact, the time that I invented a new kind of stove that was sold like flapjacks because it put out much more heat into the air, much less expense, I called it the Pennsylvania fireplace. I'd been working on it for some time, working on the baffles and so forth. The governor of the colony of Pennsylvania offered me a handsome royalty on each stove sold, but I did not accept it. I refused. You may find that stupid, and certainly I would have made money on it. But as I wrote him, I did not think it was ethical to accept money for an invention of one's own. I said, as we owe much to the inventions of others, we should be happy of an opportunity of serving others with an invention of ours, and we should do it freely and willingly. And so I did not accept money for any of my inventions. Now, I have absolutely nothing against those who feel differently on the subject. It was just not consistent with mine. The first patent office I believe it was in Philadelphia, came almost at the